Yo world, what is up, man? It is your boy Apex, and we are back here with another reaction. Bro, I didn't even know that this dude had a podcast. I'm not too sure if I'm about to check out the podcast exactly, but I'm about to definitely check out this clip from the podcast. Today we got a little clip of Reddick's podcast. If you guys do not know who Reddick is, he is probably one of the best off the bench players of my generation when it comes to basketball. Now I know that a lot of people might not agree with that. What I mean is my generation of basketball probably started in maybe I'll say 2000. I'd say 2000. From the 2000s up until now, right? I'm 27. And I know that that's 20 years, so that might not seem to most people like my generation. Like I didn't. People might say, "Oh, you didn't actually watch the draft when AI and DWade and LeBron and them." Well, I think AI got drafted in the 90s. 2000s was like LeBron, DWade, Melo. Yeah, that era. That was when Kobe and Kevin Garnett and Vince Carter started to come into their own, sort of, and already sort of made their names as stars in the league. But Reddick, bro, is when I would say Lou Will, let's say, who's another person? Barea, I would say. Who's another good bench player? Let's see. My team is the Phoenix Suns, so as soon as Nash left, all of my stars up until now basically are bench players. So there's been a handful of just what I'm basically saying is there's been a handful of just clutch shooters, clutch guys that can give you, a good 8 to 12 points when you need it, a good 10 to 15 points off the bench when you need it. And Barea is definitely one of those guys where he can come in and hit a couple. Reddick, my bad. Is one of those guys who can come in and hit a couple clutch shots off the bench. He was on Philly. He was pretty good in Philly, bro. I would say he was pretty clutch for Philly, bro. He gave him a little bit of a deep threat. But scratch all of that. What I'm saying, he has a podcast, and apparently he had DWade on there. And DWade talked about a couple things. He talked about some of his best times with Kobe Bryant, some of his best times in Miami, how the end of his career went. And he told this story, apparently, about some things that happened in Miami. Well, this is a video about, it says, DWade explains why people hated LeBron James in Miami. The OM3 podcast with Reddick and Tommy Alter. I guess that's the name of the podcast, the OM3 podcast. So I'm not sure if this is actually Reddick's podcast, but it was posted on Reddick's YouTube channel. And I would like to see what DWade's thoughts on people's reaction to him and LeBron James linking up in Miami. I, for one, okay, these are my thoughts on LeBron James and Wade and Chris Bosh linking up in Miami. It was needed. As we can clearly see, it was needed. Chris Bosh didn't really do anything before he linked up with them in terms of making deep runs in the playoffs with Toronto. And after, LeBron and him and LeBron and Wade split up when LeBron went back to Cleveland, he didn't really do that much in Miami with him and just him and Wade. So it was obviously needed for Chris Bosh to get a couple of rings. Wade already had a ring, but obviously one isn't enough. If you want to be labeled as one of the greatest, and I think that Wade is one of the top 3 shooting guards of all time. To me, it goes, one of the top 5. To me, my personal opinion, it goes Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade. And that's only because, I would have to put Dwayne Wade above AI because AI was listed as a point guard, he played the point guard. But a lot of people say that AI was basically a 2 that could handle the ball so well, and the Sixers didn't have anybody else, so they basically had to put him at point guard. So for that's why I put AI inside of that shooting guard conversation. When people say that DWade is better than AI, because I don't believe that DWade is better than AI. But if you're going to take AI completely out of that shooting guard conversation, then yes, I do believe that DWade is the third best shooting guard of all time, behind Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, of course. But Wade also needed LeBron and Chris Bosh to win him 2 more rings. Now he can put that 3 on his chest for a whole other reason. Now he's 3 because he's one of the best players to rock the number 3. Obviously, one of the best players to rock the number 3 in Miami. And for LeBron didn't get his rings and learn how to win the final series until he linked up with Bosh and Wade, because those guys were just so talented, and just that team just came together and just showed LeBron new ways on how to win and new ways on how to dig in, and he had to take some losses. But of course, we all know that when they first started, they had that big reveal. I think it was in like a club, or maybe it was probably in the stadium, where they all came out, popped up from the bottom, and LeBron had that classic little quote: "We're gonna win not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8." None of that happened. Well, 2 of those things happened. They won 2 rings. They made it to the finals 4 straight times, but they did not complete that goal that LeBron so idiotically placed on their heads. But we all know that they did go through some adversity when they first linked up. A lot of people were saying that it was a cheap move, sort of like what they did with my boy KD. To which I would say KD's move was cheap. This move was also cheap, because I do not care if they linked up. I don't care if the Heat wasn't in the finals before. There were 3 superstars, 3 all-stars, 3 of the top players within the East and within the league, actually. And they all decided to come together and make a big 3 in Miami, and then go out and get other key role players to help them become, to me, the second modern-day super team. If you're going to say the first team was Boston Celtics with KG, Rondo, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, then so be it. But if they're going to be the first, then the Miami Heat was definitely the second super team. I don't care what the Miami Heat organization was before LeBron James and Chris Bosh got there. Once they got there, they were a super team, and everybody predicted them to be finals champions all 4 years that LeBron was there, and we cannot deny that. But with all of that expectation comes hate, and I like to see what Dwayne Wade's thoughts are on the hate that him and LeBron and Chris Bosh got. So we're gonna check this thing out. This video should not be that long. It's about 7 minutes. We're gonna check this thing out. Let's go.
Why do you think the reaction to you guys deciding to join up in Miami was so different? We'll use another example. Let's use Danny Ainge trading for Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett and forming that big 3 in Boston, which, by the way, was only like 3 seasons prior to you guys making that decision to join up.
Yeah.
Why do you think the reaction was so different?
Pause. I will give my thoughts on why I think that reaction was so different. Is because, one, Ray Allen, I'm sorry, Ray Allen is one of the best and clutchest shooters of all time. Probably I will say, the second best shooter of all time. I'm going to put Steph ahead of him, because Steph can get a shot off of the dribble a lot easier than Ray Allen can. And we all know that getting your shot off of the dribble in basketball is very hard in order to sink those shots deep. And with guys that are like a half a foot to a complete foot taller, with their hands in your face, that's difficult. But yes, Ray Allen, KG, and Paul Pierce were a big 3, but I would say that the best player in that big 3 obviously was KG, right? And then you had Paul Pierce, and then you had Ray Allen. To me, I remember watching those games, and maybe I could be wrong, but Chris Bosh did more for the Heat than Ray Allen did for the Celtics in terms of being versatile, right? Chris Bosh knocked down wide open shots. He spaced the floor. He played defense. He rebounded. He was able to pass the ball out of the post as a big man. There were times where they would dump the ball down to him, and he would be able to pass it out to cutting LeBron for a wide open dunk, or a wide open Mario Chalmers for an open three, or a wide open Mike Miller or Shane Battier for open threes, or a wide open Ray Allen when Ray Allen came there. And as I recall, yes, Ray Allen was older and towards the end of his career, but once Ray Allen came, he was not considered a part of that big three. It was still Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. So why I would say that reaction was a little bit different when Ray Allen got to Boston is because Ray Allen was as much of a superstar and much of an all-star as Chris Bosh was. Yes, he was the franchise player of his team, sort of. But I would say that he was not doing as much for his team as terms of doing more than one thing as just stretching the floor and being a knockdown shooter and playing a little bit of defense. He did not do as much as Chris Bosh did for Wade and LeBron in Miami. And that's just facts. Let's continue.
Do you think it was because it was LeBron and he was sort of the best player in the game and he was supposed to do
right,
what
and
Jordan
because
did
LeBron James
and
was the best player.
Team up with other superstars.
We're going to pause this again. I don't care if the best player in the world decides to join up with other teammates. You can't win, especially with the way that the league is developing, bro. There are guys that are the fourth or fifth scoring option. Well, let's be real. There are guys right now in the league that are the second, third, and fourth scoring option on their teams that are way better in terms of production than a lot of guys in the 90s. And that's just real. I'm not going to say like the top players and all that, but let's take a guy like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler would dominate in... Well, no, he wouldn't dominate. I'm not going to say because he's not that great of a scorer. Let's just think of somebody different. Let's say a guy like Draymond, right? Draymond in his heyday back in the between 2014, 2017, right? When the Warriors were on that little run. Draymond's versatility would do damage in the late 90s. It would do damage in the early 2000s, bro. But he's not a number one scoring option in 2020 because the talent around him and the offensive skill set around him is just so high, bro. So my point being is that LeBron James is not going to be able to do it by himself. Now, the reasons why I give pushback on that, I only give pushback on that towards LeBron stands because those are the ones that were saying before LeBron was on the Heat, they were saying, oh, LeBron's dragging the team of nobody to the finals. LeBron can do anything by himself. And then when he got back to Cleveland, it was you put anybody on LeBron's team and they're making the finals automatically. LeBron can drag a team full of scrubs to the finals. LeBron doesn't need any help. And then when he loses, it's LeBron James doesn't have any help. So that's where you get the pushback from me. You feel me? But no, man. Jordan needed help. Kobe needed help. LeBron needed help. KD needed help. Yes, I do think that KD is the best player in the world. What? Say something. Oh. But yeah, man, they all need help. Let's continue.
I definitely feel that was a big part of it. I want to throw it all on Bron, but I definitely feel that the fan base, basketball fan base, had an idea of how LeBron's career was supposed to go, and it was supposed to go like Michael Jordan's
when you come up in the area of social media, people are going to write how your career should go,
right? And he had other ideas for his career, and people at the time didn't understand why would he do that. Right? They looked at it as a weak move. It's a weak move that he go team up with another all-star and another all-star. So yes, that was a big part of it. I think at the same time as well.
Again, just like how Wade said, bro, a lot of the pushback came because he joined up with two bona fide all-stars. You feel me? it's not like Shaq and Kobe, where yes, Shaq was dominant in the East in Orlando, but Kobe wasn't a bona fide All-Star when those two linked up, or when Shaq came to L.A. Jordan, when they drafted Scottie, they got Horace Grant. You feel me? They built that team up from the ground. You feel me? So yeah, they got Kukoc and a couple of other players from other teams, but their core, their big two, I would say Scottie and Jordan, they drafted those guys. So that's why people give them that little excuse, and that's why people don't give that excuse for KD and the Warriors. Yeah, KD was a seasoned vet. He was a superstar. He was already a former MVP. Steph was already a one-time or a two-time MVP. The Warriors had already won a championship, so that's why people say that move was weak. Even though I don't think that move was weak, but I understand what people say from that, because there were people. Those were players that were already proven, so they already knew what their potential could be when they linked up. When Shaq and Kobe linked up, nobody knew exactly what they could do, because nobody knew Kobe Bryant's full potential. Nobody knew exactly how dominant Shaq could be. Nobody knew exactly how dominant Pippen and Jordan could be together. But once Shaq went to the Lakers, nobody was saying, "Oh, now you take him in with Kobe Bryant, and now this team is a championship contender automatically." Nobody said as soon as they drafted Scottie, "Oh, now that they have Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan is going to be a six-time champion or whatever." But once LeBron and Wade and Bosh hooked up, people saw what Bosh was doing in Toronto. People saw what LeBron was doing in Cleveland. He had just came a game or two short of the finals when he had lost to Boston. He had already been in the finals by himself as a superstar. So people knew exactly what that team's potential could be. So that's where you got pushback. Come on, Wade. You can't act like that. That's absurd. That's not absurd, bro. Come on, bro. Let's go.
It wasn't used to playing at that time. It wasn't used to players having control. You know what I mean? Organizations made trades. That's what happened. You really free agency before that was not really that sexy like that. You know, and even though it was some guys who, you know, like the I think it was Orlando Magic who had an opportunity to do some sexy stuff with Tim Duncan possibly and Grant Hill and T-Mac, like that would have been sexy, but that didn't happen. And it just wasn't something that was really the sexy thing to do. And at that moment when we made a decision as players and kind of put the control in the player's hand and change the dynamics of what people were used to, you always going to get hate. You know, it's like Allen Iverson came in with braids and tattoos and sleeves, and everybody's like, this is not how the best player in the game looks. They look like Michael Jordan. They don't have tattoos. They don't, and that wasn't Allen Iverson. So you get hate when you're the first ones to do it in the way we did it. And so we understand it, you know, eventually we understood it because we kind of opened up this path for players to do it for a period of time, and it became the wave. And I'm glad we did. I'm glad we took the hate, but I seen some real hatred out there, JJ. I'm talking about, I see some ugliness, and I from fans that I didn't know existed. And I come from the inner city of Chicago, and I didn't know some of this ugliness existed in the world. And when we talk about racism, when we talk about the things that people said to us,
what did you just compare? Night after night. Pause. Did DWade Wade just compare the violence and the dangerousness of the inner city of Chicago to trash talking by NBA fans? Come on, DWade. Nah, bro. That's where I'm gonna have to agree to disagree, bro. You're not about to compare slander and backlash from NBA fans to what you went through in the streets of Chicago. I ain't even gonna call you a Negro. Let's keep going.
This is at the arena. This is not just people trolling on social media. You're saying this is at the arena. You're hearing stuff being said.
Yeah, this is at the arenas. This is in our everyday life, right? Of us traveling, going places. I mean, at that time we had to have so much security around us because the hate was real. and people would say some of the things that you would just look at them and say, like, you don't even know me. Like, how you speak of me in this?
I'm sorry I'm pausing it so much, but this is one of the things that I do not get with people who decide to put themselves in the limelight and in the public circle. You cannot say that you want all of the accolations and the praise when you succeed for these people, but want the opposite, but then not want the backlash and not want their opinions and not want their true honesty when you disappoint them. I know for a fact that you just let's put it this way, bro. Remember when Wade had his last little retirement season, his last year, and then he hit that game winner. Matter of fact, his iconic game winning shot, when he hit the shot and then he stood up on the table, whatever, he jumped up on the scorer's table and he did the whole "this is my house" to the whole crowd. How can you expect those people to cheer for you at that point? But then when you disappoint them, you want them to just go on about their daily lives and act like nothing happened. Like, you represent our city. You want us to come to the games, right? You want us to be your fan. You want us to praise you when you hit the game-winning shots. You want us to stand up for you when other people from other cities and other teams and people on these sports shows, when they bash you and they don't hold you to the high praise that we hold you to, you want us to stand up for you, right? But then when you disappoint us and you lose a game that's important, or when you lead the team when you were giving the fans every impression that you were going to be there for the long haul, when you give us that impression and then you turn around and do the opposite, you think that it's weird that these people decide to bash you and talk down about you. Like, they're going to do that. They're humans. I don't understand why people do not expect humans to be humans every single time. I always expect a human to act like a human every single time. Now, I would be disappointed in you if everything's set up for you to act a certain way and then at the end you decide to flip out and do decision B. But if you sitting there at my games every single time, cheering for me, yelling my name, chanting MVP when I shoot a free throw, even though you're supposed to be quiet so I can focus. You sitting there chanting all this stuff and putting all this pressure on my back, right? And then I hit a game-winning shot, and then I stand up on the table and I say, "This is my house, this is my city," or whatever. And this isn't about DWade, kind of is, but this isn't about that much about DWade specifically. This is mostly just talking about just NBA players in general, or just sports players in general. You cannot expect fans to completely side with you when you go against their team. Point blank, you can't expect that to happen, bro. That's just how they're going to react. They are sports fans. Sports fans is where we come to let out all of our aggression and anger throughout the week through something that we cannot control, because that's just what we do as humans. We like to put all of our marbles in a football game. We like to put part of our check on a lottery that we have no control over winning, because that's what we do. We like to take our hopes and our dreams and put them into something else, because those hopes and dreams can't be accomplished by us within that specific point in time, but maybe they can be accomplished by you. And once you fail at doing that, as humans, we react viciously. And that's just it. That's how it always has been. That's how it's always going to be, bro. You cannot expect anything else from a human. I expect that every single time. And then when it doesn't happen, that's when I, get ecstatic and say, "Oh, that was special." That's when the word special is needed. Not when the normal happens. When something actually special happens. Let's keep going.
You speak of me in this way, but I would never forget the Cleveland game. The first time we went back to Cleveland, I would never forget.
What did y'all expect the city of Cleveland to do? And that was the time when LeBron James left. LeBron James did the decision.
He's really
y'all can't just
I've always
the
said
decision wasn't what it was.
But the hatred that I heard in the locker room, I've never heard hate before. You know what I mean? Like, you can hear someone say something, but if you ever heard the sound of hate, it is the most uncomfortable thing to experience. And I remember walking out of the tunnel.
You didn't hear any hate when you decided
and it wasn't
to
just
resign
booze,
Miami,
and it wasn't just
Chicago.
I hate you. It was the look on people's faces. it was the things that was coming out of their mouths and like how raged they were, like in anger, that I said I will never forget this moment a day in my life, about, you know, how someone can really hate you for making a basketball decision that you felt was best for yourself and your family. Is crazy to me.
I'm not going to plug myself here, but
please plug yourself.
I went on Taylor Rook's show on Bleacher Report. She did a whole series on race in America. For some reason, she asked me to come on the show. And one of the things that I said on the show, and one of the things that I said on my podcast with Yahoo back in 2016, when Kevin Durant made his decision, is that the reaction to LeBron leaving and Kevin leaving is because there is a group of sports fans that are and will always be uncomfortable with powerful black men making decisions for themselves, taking empowerment and taking control of their careers. Now, of course, the blogs or whatever said that I said that it was racist. I'm not going to go that far, but what I will say is I will stand by those words. I think, of course, an element of Kevin getting backlash was because he went and joined the team that just beat him in the conference finals. Of course, part of the backlash with LeBron was because he wasn't following the same route as Jordan, and that's supposed to be the definition of greatness. But the other component to that is what I just said, and I firmly believe that.
Listen, you hit the nail on the head. And if you think about it, no one gives backlash to any championships that Larry Bird won, that Magic Johnson won, that Michael Jordan won.
That's because you can't picture them in a different jersey.
You know what I mean? Like, guys, you don't win championships without playing with other guys that are great, first of all. But it wasn't done in the way that LeBron did it and the way that we did it. It was done from organizations. The organizations made sure that Larry Bird had McHale, Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson. You know what I mean? Like all these Hall of Famers. And it was, so it was different. And I agree with you, man. And I didn't say that. I'm glad you said that. But we felt that way. We knew that some of the hate was because of our skin color, because of being black men and deciding
I'm not gonna lie, when all that
control the fate of our careers. Of people because organizations will do it quickly. They will trade a Dwayne Wade in a heartbeat if you're not accomplishing what they want you to accomplish. Yeah. So when we had the power, when we had the moment, we took it. But some of the hate came because of we were three black guys who decided. And we changed the way that the NBA probably would ever be, right? Because of that decision. So I agree with you, man, 100%.
Does it add? %. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I mean, listen, bro. I'm not gonna lie, when that stuff was happening, like I just said, I had absolutely no indication that people were hating on them because of their skin color. I would just thought that people were hating on them because, like he said, people expected LeBron to take that same route as Jordan, and he didn't do that, which rubbed people the wrong way. And you can't expect people to accept every single decision that you make. Even if it is your decision. You have every right to make whatever decision you want to make as a human being, bro. It is up to you to determine your own future. But it's also people's right to have their whatever opinion they have on that thing, man. Like, I am a huge Patriots fan, okay? Tom Brady is gone. No, he is not gone in the sense of he's retired. This dude will be playing in another jersey. In my heart, he was supposed to retire a Patriot. He was supposed to retire a Patriot. He was supposed to retire a Patriot. Okay? Now I gotta buy a Cam Newton jersey. I love the fact that I gotta buy a Cam Newton jersey because I'm a Cam Newton fan. But I don't like the fact that I have to buy a Cam Newton jersey because that means that my favorite quarterback and my favorite Patriot player of all time is no longer on my team, but he's on another team, and I have to watch him if football season decides to continue. I have to watch him for at least another 2 years in another jersey, possibly winning games and winning playoff games for another team. That's gonna rub me the wrong way, but that's his decision, bro. That's his decision. That organization pushed him to a point where he couldn't be there anymore. He didn't want to be there anymore. He wanted to try something new. And he decided to make that decision, bro. And that's on him. If he succeeds, more power to you. I hope he loses in the Super Bowl to us. More power to him up into that Super Bowl. Once that Super Bowl comes, I hope he does not win a single thing. If we are also in that Super Bowl. But if we're not in that Super Bowl, then hey, man, more power to you, and I hope he wins. But this is all about, bro, fans are going to be fans of what they're most favorable of. I know people that are LeBron James fans and not Lakers fans. They were never Cleveland fans or Miami fans. They were LeBron James fans. I am a KD. My favorite basketball team is the Suns, but I am a KD fan. I will ride with KD until the wheels fall off. When he comes back, he will be the best player in the NBA, and I do not care what anybody says. Okay? If you got a problem with that, hit me up in the comments, and we will have that debate. But he will be the best player. And I will hope that he makes it to the NBA Finals with the Brooklyn Nets. And I hope that Brooklyn Nets plays my Phoenix Suns. And my Phoenix Suns win, because Devin Booker is the man. But this is all just about, people are going to hate on you when you do not, sports fans are going to hate on you when you do not make the decision that they want. Because at the end of the day, they want their favorite team to win. And they do not want their favorite team to lose. And they want their favorite player to be on their favorite team. That's just how sports goes. So you cannot blame. Now, I will say that if people are doing the whole racist thing when it comes to trash talking and hating, that's a whole different conversation for a different day, bro. But when it comes to just straight up dislike for another player, people are going to dislike another player until that player is on their team. Case in point, Cam Newton beat my Patriots in a very crucial game one year. And after that, I didn't like him. But you know when I started liking him? About a month ago. They announced that he was going to be playing for the Patriots next year. Now Cam Newton is the man again. Okay, that's just how sports works, bro. That's how sports works, people, and we can't get around that. Maybe we can try and change that, change the stigmas, and start normalizing supporting every player, and let's give everybody a participation trophy as long as he played hard, and now they're going to be very good. No, okay? Sports is about competition. Sports is about number one and everybody else, okay? That's why on the Olympics thing, number 2 and number 3 are kind of like this far off, but number 1 is all the way up here. Because if you're not number 1, nobody cares about who's number 2 or below. Bro, my Phoenix Suns just went 8-0 in the NBA bubble. Nobody cares because we didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, I have something to look to hang my hat on, sort of, for next year. But in terms of a whole season, we failed, and that's just facts. So this is a good little insight on how that whole Miami stance went with the big three, Wade, LeBron James, and Bosh. I have to agree on most of the things that DWade said. I like I said at the beginning of this little review, when that stuff was happening, I got no indications that people were hating on them because they were black men making their own decisions. But if that's how they felt, that's their personal experience, and I can't deny that that's what happened, because that's what they went through. And I wasn't in those locker rooms. I wasn't in the arena when people were yelling those things out to them. So I can't speak on that. But I can speak on the fact that what I think that rubbed people the wrong way the most with that whole Miami thing was the decision. Why did you take an hour and a half or an hour or so to make this whole live presentation just to rip the hearts out of your home city, like, or your home state? You knew that people were like, LeBron James should have known that the city of Cleveland would disapprove of this. He should have known that they would hate on him for this. So for the fact that he decided to do this and to act like he was shocked by the backlash or shocked by the reaction of people, it's just absurd, bro. It's absurd. I understand that they were doing this in the sort of the beginning of social media. Social media wasn't as prominent as it is now, especially with the whole KD situation. Everybody had their opinion on that, and you were able to hear everybody's opinion on that. But back in 2010, 2011, when LeBron James decided to make that decision, social media wasn't as prominent as it is now. So most of the backlash that we saw was either within barbershops, within our own environments, but more publicly, we only saw that stuff really on ESPN and all of the sports shows and things like that. So, bro, people are gonna like the things you do. People are gonna dislike things you do. There's always gonna be people in the middle that are on the fence, and those are the people you gotta try and aim for, bro. Your supporters are always gonna support you. Your haters are always gonna hate you. Your chances are 9.5 times out of 10, you will never be able to flip a hater into a supporter. So don't focus on them, bro. Focus on your core, the people who mess with you, and the people that are on the fence, the people that can actually be swayed to liking you, instead of already making their minds up that they don't like you, regardless of what you do. But this was entertaining, bro. We might have to check out some more of these sports discussions, especially with the pandemic, with the NBA bubble. They're starting their playoffs though, so I don't know if we're going to be doing many reactions to the highlights. But with the NFL being in sort of the balance of whether they're going to be able to start up their season or not, we're going to see what we do with our sports content on the channel. But we might have to add some of these deep dive discussions or some of these sort of hidden backstories within the podcast and the radio world. I like this thing, bro. I always like hearing background stories like this, bro. So we're gonna check out some more of that stuff, because I know that somebody out there likes this stuff too. So that's what we're gonna do. But in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know what you guys think about the whole Miami thing. And if you guys I want to know what you guys' opinions are on the LeBron going to Miami thing versus the KD going to Golden State thing. I think that they are just as bad, bro. I don't care what KD and Golden State went through the year before. It's the same, bro. If you're going to say one is bad, the other one has to be just as bad, bro, because they linked up with other bona fide superstars to make a super team at the end of the day. And that's what it is. I don't care what happened the year before. That year is over. The year was over, and you have to focus on what happened then and now, and then within the future. So let me know what you guys think, and we will be back with some more reactions in a little bit. All right, it's your boy Apex. Until then, peace.